Good morning friends, I am Shomajit sir. Today I am here to deliver my lecture on topic human respiratory system. This is a most important topic. This is from the chapter life processes. So watch the entire video lecture to get basics out of it. Don't miss the video lecture. So without any delay, let's start with the topic human respiratory system from the chapter life processes. So let's start. In this slide, see, I have given the picture of a human being where respiratory system is shown on both left and right hand side. So we'll see this in detail from the next slide. So now see what are the paths it follow. Clear? In the respiratory system, what are the components it has, or what are the parts it has, and what path does it follow. So we see from the nose, followed by pharynx, then trachea, bronchial tubes, and lungs. Within lungs, the smallest unit of lungs is alveoli, where exchange of gases takes place. That means we take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Clear? So see here, see nose. In nose, air enters the body through two nostrils. Clear? Next, pharynx. Air moves from nose into the throat or pharynx. Clear? Next, trachea. The trachea leads from pharynx towards the lungs. Next, bronchus. Air moves from trachea into the right and left bronchi. Next, lungs. After air reaches the lungs, it moves through smaller and smaller airways until it reaches the alveoli. So these parts we'll discuss in the next slide. See. Now see, what is a pharynx? Clear? First I'll describe describe the parts of the human respiratory system. See, pharynx, left hand side diagram is given. What is a pharynx? See, it is a throat. Clear? Common passageway of air and food. Clear? It is a common passage for air and food, and it is 5 centimeter in long. Clear? Next, epiglottis. Epiglottis, when the food is swallowed, this closes over the opening of to the larynx, preventing the food from entering the lungs. Understood? So it shuts down the windpipe. Clear? So that it passes through the food pipe, not through the windpipe. Then larynx. Larynx is a voice box. It's a triangular chamber below the pharynx. It is also called Adam's apple. Next, glottis. What is a glottis? Vocal cord within the larynx. Clear? You see all the figures are given on the left hand side. But where is epiglottis? Where is esophagus? Where is tongue? Esophagus you have already studied in digestive system. Next, trachea. See, windpipe, 4.5 long. Clear? Valves are alternate bands of membrane and C-shaped ring of hyaline cartilage to keep it open, lined with ciliated mucous membrane. Coughing and exportation gets rid of dust land mucus. So this is a trachea, followed by bronchi. See, similar to trachea with ciliated mucous membrane and hyaline cartilage. Lower end of the trachea divides into two. Clear? One is right, one in right, another in left. Next, what is bronchial tubes? Cartilage plate. Clear? Next, bronchioles. That means this bronchus get further, or this bronchi get further divided. Bronchioles, thinner wall of smooth muscle lined with ciliated epithelium. Subdivision of bronchi at the end. Alveolar duct and clusters of alveoli. Next, what is alveoli? See, left hand side I have shown the diagram. Balloon like structure. These are very minute. Clear? These are very small, and the unit of lungs is an alveoli. What is an alveoli? It is composed of single layer of epithelial tissue, inner surface covered with surfactant to keep from collapsing, each surrounded by capillaries. Understood? oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange takes place between these. Understood, as I have already said. So see, in entire human respiratory system, you see, first we take in air, isn't it, from nostrils, then passes through nasal cavity, then trachea, and it's divided into bronchi, then bronchioles, then at last finally alveoli. Clear? So the respiratory system is a group of organism that takes in oxygen and get rid of carbon dioxide. Understood? So we take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. And respiration is the transport of oxygen from outside to the inside of the body. Clear? From outside environment inside of the body, and a transport of carbon dioxide from inside our body to outside. So when we inhale, oxygen in the air moves into the blood from the lungs. Oxygen is used in cellular respiration, and when we exhale, carbon dioxide is released from the body. Clear? Out from the body. Now in the mechanism of breathing, as I said, air enters your respiratory system through your nose and mouth. Clear? As I have said earlier, air flows into the pharynx or throat. The pharynx branches into two tubes, as I have said, that the tube leads to lungs. The pharynx is a part of the throat that holds the vocal cord. When air passes across the vocal cord, they vibrate and make a noise. The larynx is connected to the trachea or windpipe. Air allows from the pharynx through the trachea to the lungs. The trachea splits into two branches called bronchi. Singular is bronchus. The bronchi connects each lung. Clear? The bronchi branch off into smaller tubes called bronchioles. Bronchioles lead to tiny sacs called alveoli. Clear? Alveoli are surrounded by blood vessels. Gases move between the blood vessels and alveoli. So you see, the two processes in the mechanism of breathing. One is inhalation, another is exhalation. So what are the different terminologies I'll discuss here? Inhalation is also called breathing in, or it's also called inspiration. Understood? So what takes place in inhalation? During inhalation, as we breathe in, clear, as we breathe in, so the volume of air, clear, the volume of lungs increases, yeah, as the air flows in. As the air flows inside our body, the volume of lungs is increasing. Clear? The rib cage move up and out. Clear? See, whenever we are breathing in, our rib cage is coming outside, and the diaphragm contracts and flattens. See, whenever you breathe in, you feel these three things are happening. The diaphragm. What is the diaphragm? It separates the thoracic cavity and abdomen. Clear? So the chest cavity is called thoracic cavity, and middle is the diaphragm, and below is the abdominal cavity. Clear? So you see below there is a diagram given, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing out, I'll come in the next slide. You see breathing in. See, whenever a person is breathing in, that means what? We are mostly taking in oxygen. So chest cavity expanding, see, and the diaphragm figure given, it contracts. Clear? It descends down because the lungs is filled with air. Now this phenomenon reverse is seen during exhalation. Exhalation is also called breathing out. It's also called expiration. That means we are releasing air mostly filled with carbon dioxide outside from our body we are sending it outside from our body. Clear? See in the diagram given, breathing out, see, the chest contracts, lungs shrinks. Clear? That means lungs volume is decreased and the diaphragm relaxes. See, whenever breathing out, see, we're breathing out, that means what? The diaphragm relax and move up, the rib cage relax and return to its original position, and the volume of lungs decreases and the air pushes out. So try once, all of you, see, breathing in and breathing out. See, so this is breathing in and breathing out. So this gas exchange is taking place inside this alveoli. See, the gases exchange takes place. Exchange of what? Oxygen and carbon dioxide. We need oxygen and we release out what? Carbon dioxide. See, balloon-like structure alveoli. Now see, lungs. See, lungs fill thoracic cavity. Clear? It's present in the thoracic cavity. Tissue is porous and spongy, it floats. Clear. Apex, upper part of the lungs. Base is the lower part of the lung. Clear. I am describing the lungs. Then right lungs and left lungs. See, right lung is larger and shorter. Clear. And it has 3 lobes, and the left lungs is smaller. This is displaced by the heart. Clear. And has 2 lobes. So right lung have 3 lobes and left lung have 2 lobes. Now pleura. What is pleura? Is covering of lungs. Clear. See, thin. What is a pleura? Thin, moist, slippery membrane that covers lungs. Clear. Double wall sac. Sac is filled with this pleura is filled with a fluid. Clear. With pleural fluid to prevent friction. Now what is a coughing? Coughing. Deep breath followed by forceful expulsion of air to clean lower respiratory tract. So when you are coughing, we are cleaning the respiratory tract. Clear. And hiccups. What is hiccups? You know, sometimes when it comes, see, spasm of diaphragm and closure of glottis, irritation to the diaphragm and phrenic nerve. Next is yawning. Clear. We yawn, isn't it? Deep prolonged breath that fills the lungs increases oxygen within the blood. So whenever there is a decrease in oxygen content, oxygen volume in the blood, we yawn. So that whenever we are yawning, we take a lot of amount of oxygen inside our body. Next, sneezing. What is a sneezing? Air forced through nose to clear respiratory tract. Clear. Next, neural factors of breathing control. What are the neural factors that controls this breathing? So respiratory centers located in the medulla oblongata in brain. Clear. So the medulla oblongata of the brain controls is responsible for respiratory system, neural mechanism. Increase carbon dioxide. Increase in carbon dioxide and decrease in oxygen in the blood will trigger the respiratory center. So whenever in our body we have a carbon dioxide increase and oxygen deficient or less oxygen, that time the neural control will start. Next, see, these are the disorders of respiratory system. See, left hand side is a normal bronchi or bronchial. Clear. And left hand side, right, and this side you see asthmatic bronchial. See. Next slide you see disorders of respiratory system. Clear. First is asthma. Next I have written pneumonia and then emphysema. What is asthma? Clear. It is a condition in which airways are narrowed because of inflammation of the bronchi. Clear. The bronchi gland inflammation. Next, pneumonia. What is a pneumonia? Inflammation of the lungs that is usually caused by bacteria or virus. Clear. Alveoli filled with fluid. And third I have stated emphysema. Alveoli have been damaged, so oxygen cannot pass across into the blood as well as it should, often linked to long-term use of tobacco. Clear. So in emphysema, the alveoli is damaged. In pneumonia, inflammation of lungs due to bacteria and virus. And asthma, inflammation of bronchi. Clear. So these are the homework questions. We'll study. So you should know this respiratory system very nicely. Clear. First, we are taking in air that mostly filled with oxygen to the nasal cavity. Clear. From first is nostril, then nasal cavity were coming, then trachea were coming, then bronchi, then bronchioles, then ultimately to alveoli. So student, hope you have liked this lecture about human respiratory system. The parts of human respiratory system I have described as well as its mechanism, how it takes place, the process of breathing in and breathing out. Do your homework, memorize the diagram, draw it, label it, practice it thoroughly. Clear. Stay at home, be safe. Again, we'll meet in the next class. So thank you students.